Yeah. Got the drop top Hummer for the summer, yeah. Go yard bad with 100, yeah. And I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah. Say I know why.
Alright guys, welcome into the J&B Podcast. I'm Bobby Levine, alongside me is Jackson Schroeder. We are live on Facebook Live, and if you are watching us on our YouTube page, that is coming to you directly from Nate Sexauer and Mateen Ozichik. Thank you so much for editing this. We'll have a whole packed show today.
Yeah.
We've got college basketball with the brackets. We're going to talk about that just in a second. We've got the MLB talk with Chris Constable. And then we have Matt Harrington ending the show once again with the NBA. A lot of big news coming up.
Talking about those Cavs.
Yeah, I'll talk about those Cavs in a little bit. So stay tuned if you want to hear some Cavs talk. MLB second on deck. And then we've got brackets and then breaking news first. So right now, breaking news coming out of the Oakland Bay area. We're not talking about the Golden State Warriors right now. We're talking about the Oakland Raiders. As of yesterday, there was a 31-1 vote in the NFL allowing the Raiders to move to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is a money move for sure. And it's a good move for their franchise. I hear some well-respected analysts like Colin Cowherd talking about how they couldn't have won a Super Bowl in Oakland. I don't really understand why that's true, but I don't like the move because I'm a traditionalist. I like having the Raiders in Oakland because that's where their fan base is. Like, they moved from LA to Oakland and they established themselves, and their fans were loyal, like the Browns or any bad team at times. Their fans are loyal, and they finally get to see them rise up this year, and then they go to Las Vegas. I mean, Las Vegas is a big market, possibly, but I just don't see the fan loyalty coming from a town like Las Vegas, or city, excuse me.
To go in your statement with that the Oakland Raiders couldn't win a Super Bowl in Oakland. If Derek Carr did not get hurt, that team could have beat Houston and moved forward in the playoffs, and you never know with what happens in the playoffs. You have a good quarterback. That's what you need first off. It's just like in any other sport, your best player is the leader. It's a quarterback in the NFL. It's a star pitcher in the MLB. It's your goaltender in the NHL, and in basketball, it's just your point guard, whoever handles the ball the most. Yeah. Derek Carr is their leader. He was killing it for them, absolutely destroying it. That
great
was
defense too,
yes.
with Khalil Mack. They're a great team, and they will be a great team next year also. But I just was a little perplexed by the fact that Colin Cowherd didn't think they could win a Super Bowl in Oakland. I'm not sure about that.
They didn't have Derek Carr the last game of the regular season. They lost to the Denver Broncos 24-6. Other than that, they could have finished the year 13-3.
Yeah, definitely.
That team was a front runner for a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, in a tough division.
Very tough division. I think the move, it hurts the NFL. I think the last 2 years we've had teams move like crazy. San Diego moves out of San Diego, and goes a little bit up north to LA. That whole, I feel like the city of San Diego is so hurt.
Yeah,
they have the
definitely.
Padres. That's it. They're trying to get an MLS team. We talked about that last week.
Yeah, the Chargers possibly
Called the Chargers, but the Chargers have been there for forever. I mean, you think about the Chargers, you think of Junior Seau.
Yeah. Incredible
defense right there. Then you got the St. Louis Rams, who haven't been good in a long time, but then they move and pick up things and go to LA. So they have two teams in LA, and then the one team in Oakland moves to Las Vegas. There's no fan base right now. There's no NBA or NFL team that was there before. It wasn't like they had the LA Rams before.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very frustrating with the NFL. They don't have loyalty. They seem to have in other leagues.
It's just a money move.
It is a money move, 100%. 100%
frustrating from a fan standpoint.
Okay, so let's get things going here to the NCAA with the brackets.
Yeah.
I want to give a huge shout out though to Joe Andrews, our sponsor, J&J Mobile Detailing, right behind Avalanche Pizza, folks. Go there, get your car detailed, waxed, washed, rinsed, shampooed, all that good stuff. Makes it smell and look brand new.
Exactly.
I got it done. The car's great. You guys need to hop on that.
You get it shampooed too.
I did shampoo. The car smells incredible. It still does. This is like literally a couple weeks ago. The car still smells incredible. Okay, want to give a huge shout out though. If you go to check out our Twitter at Seat at the T, also on Instagram Seat at the T. You can go on to Facebook and check us out. Seat at the Table at that part. For our bracket tournament, there's 3 brackets left. I'll go down from top to bottom. Who has a chance? Elaine with 74 points. She's got Oregon over Gonzaga in the championship. Aubrey has Gonzaga winning it with 68 points total. So if Gonzaga wins the whole thing, she'll take over. And then Paul Holden, the voice of Power 105 here in Athens, Ohio, has UNC winning it all with 68 points. So Aubrey and Paul are tied right now. If UNC wins it all, Paul wins. If Gonzaga wins it all, Aubrey wins. And then if Oregon wins it all, Elaine wins.
Yeah, tight race there. We'll see what happens. I also wanted to throw a plug for our website, seatathet.com. We've got good articles and content coming out just about daily, and it's not always the normal news, not the normal storylines. We have NHL news, we have MLS news, MLB, NBA, and more. Just about everything. Seatathet.com, all one word.
Okay, so let's talk about the tournament right now. We're down to the Final Four. The first game on the left side, it's going to be South Carolina Gamecocks coming out of nowhere, the 7th seed, having huge upsets moving forward, are going against the number 1 seed, the Gonzaga, the Bulldogs, correct?
Yeah, the Bulldogs.
Gonzaga Bulldogs, 1 loss all season. You go to the right side, you've got the Oregon Ducks coming out, and then they're playing another 1 seed as well with North Carolina Tar Heels. Looking back at last weekend with the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, who surprised you? Who disappointed you? And moving forward, who do you have winning it all?
Well, lots of disappointments came early, but I'll talk about my surprises first. And I was harping on the SEC basketball-wise earlier, and South Carolina and Florida in an Elite 8 matchup. I was wrong about that. I'll be the first one to admit that. But South Carolina has been so surprising. They've been really hot, taking down some great opponents there. They're going to run into a big speed bump here with Gonzaga, though. I think Gonzaga is the best team left in this tournament. Probably, in my eyes, was not the best team in the tournament, but now has the best chance of winning this thing.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree with you on that aspect with Gonzaga being the best team and you moving forward. They've gotten lucky. They had an easy first-round game as being a 1 seed. You put the 1 seeds regardless moving forward against the 16 seed. They played a first-time ever tournament selection in the Northwestern Wildcats, which they got lucky with a goaltending call in that round to move them forward and play their hardest competition I think they played so far in the West Virginia Mountaineers.
Yeah, and
that was a good
true.
game. That was one good game.
And they were one of the best teams in the tournament, I would say. They maybe not consistently the best, but over the course of the season, their wins were crazy good. They had so much talent on that team, and they were hot going into this game against Gonzaga, which is partially why I give more credit to Gonzaga.
And then they played the Xavier Musketeers, so shout out to the last Ohio team to make it all the way to Elite 8, 11 seed, okay? No matter what
they were hot too, and they crushed them.
Absolutely, they crushed them, but they're also missing their best player. They played that the last half season pretty much without their best player, having upset after upset, beating Maryland, Florida State, and then Arizona. I think they put all their eggs in the last basket against Arizona. They were very tired playing that Gonzaga game. I think my biggest surprise this entire tournament has to be South Carolina.
Oh, definitely.
An incredible run. Not only beating Duke, beating Baylor, and then beating Florida. So they beat a 2, 3, and 4 seed. Now they got to play the 1 seed.
Yep.
They can knock out all top 4 seeds there, get themselves in a championship opportunity. And my roommate Matt, who's sitting right over here, you can't see him yet. He's coming in here very shortly. Wants to see a North Carolina South Carolina championship.
Oh, I think that would be great.
That'd be pretty interesting to see that.
Where's Ethan? The Battle of the Kakalakis?
Yeah. Shout out to Ethan Graham if you're watching this. I want to point out the South region. That had to be the toughest region on the very bottom half with Kentucky and UCLA. That game right there, I thought was going to be deciding who was going to get to the Final Four. Kentucky had a late lead after they beat UCLA. Had a late lead on UNC. UNC battled back, got a 7-point lead with under a minute to go. Somehow Kentucky came back and tied the ball game up, and then lost it on a buzzer beater, pretty much shot by UNC. I think that was a preview of the national champion. I think whoever won that game is going to be the national champion, and UNC won that game. I think they're going to roll through the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks haven't been to the Final Four since
1939.
39. There you go. Thank you so much. And I think it's going to be Gonzaga against North Carolina, and I think North Carolina has too many weapons. If that does happen, I'll root for Gonzaga. I'm not a North Carolina Tar Heel fan at all. I think I'll root for anyone that's coming out of that left side. I don't think I can even root for Oregon. It's hard rooting for Oregon in the Pac-12. I don't think they're that solid. But moving forward, it's gonna be a good run. A good finale here. So
this is why I've got Gonzaga winning.
Let me hear it.
So yes, I've got Gonzaga playing UNC in this next round. Oregon's hot, but they're not good enough. They don't have enough talent to beat that UNC squad. But when Gonzaga faces UNC, Gonzaga is 4th defensively, and they can lock down that UNC offense, and that's where UNC thrives. They've got a pretty mediocre defense. I think they not in the top of the pack at all. But Gonzaga averages 83.2 points per game, which puts them at 14th overall, and they've got a great offense with a great defense. I know their regular season competition isn't the best, and that's why I was not so high on them going into this tournament. But watching them play those big games against West Virginia, really tricky opponent there, I like them. And how they finished this tournament to get themselves to the Final Four, I like them going forward.
It's the best game all year
You think so?
against West Virginia.
Matt says that. I'm agreeing with them. The best game they played all year was against West Virginia. Beat them by 3. I don't know. I still have North Carolina winning it all. It's going to be a tight one in the championship if they do get that far. I think they're going to roll through Oregon and we'll go from there. So I have UNC. You have Gonzaga. Who do you guys have? UNC? UNC as well. All right. Well, that's all we got from the basketball topic. We're bringing in our fantasy beat writer, Chris Constable, joining us for the podcast for not the second time.
Make some room.
Second time. All right. Well, again, I want to give a huge shout out to J&J Mobile Detailing. Get your cars fixed up, washed, rinsed, waxed, all that. 9 yards, right behind Avalanche Pizza on East State Street. Tell them the J&B podcast crew sent you. He'll give you a nice fat discount, and we'll move from there. We are 1 week away. First off, nice jersey.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So Lindor, Puerto Rico jersey.
Francisco Lindor, Puerto Rico jersey. I mentioned this to Chris before the podcast. He's wearing a double loser jersey. Not only did the Cleveland Indians lose in the World Series in Game 7, but the Puerto Rico team lost to the United States of America in the WBC Championship. I want to give a huge shout out though to Jordan Lindsay if you're watching this. Appreciate all the articles coming down all the way in Alabama. He covered that WBC like it was the back of his hand. Awesome articles, awesome graphics for all the pretty much articles that we are moving forward are all him. All the NCAA articles, those are all him. United States got the win last Wednesday. That was the day after we had our podcast. And now we're less than a week away from MLB to start. Opening day is almost here. Finally. If you are playing fantasy baseball, go check out Chris's articles on our website, seatathet.com. He covered his best play, his favorite what are the articles? They were about the underwatched player.
It was a sleeper pick with Logan Forsythe.
Yep.
And maybe an undervalued pitcher for Baltimore, Kevin Gausman. So check those out. Some intriguing picks there for this upcoming season.
All right, so let's talk about your favorite division. You're a giant Indians fan.
Huge Indians fan.
It's going to be an interesting year moving forward. You guys lost Game 7 of the World Series in extra innings.
Yeah.
Crazy finish. Probably the best game we've ever seen in a long time. That series was incredible.
And we were up in Cleveland for that final game. And that was insane. So we want to talk about AL Central?
We'll talk about AL Central to start out with.
Okay.
Who do you have coming out of that? Who are people to watch out for? And give me a rundown on that.
So, I mean, I'm a little bit biased here. I definitely have the Indians coming away with that division. I think, with adding Encarnacion in the offseason is just immaculate. Just such a great move by the Indians organization to an already, potent Indians lineup. You add in the fact that Michael Brantley coming back, if he stays healthy, which I'm on the fence about Brantley. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy, but if he does, if he can get back to even remotely, back to his MVP form, he wasn't an MVP, but he had, I think he was 3rd place that year in 2015. We have all the positions filled. Andrew Miller's there through 2018. The pitching staff has got to be top 5, on any list. You get guys like Carrasco and Salazar coming back, and I think we're in for 94 wins. I think that's what I'm going with. Other than that, I think I have Detroit coming in 2nd place. Fulmer, the rookie last year. Did he win Rookie of the Year?
Fulmer?
I
don't think so.
He was close. He had a phenomenal season. They have some savvy veterans in there, Verlander, Victor Martinez.
The reason why I like you guys in the Central right now, Casey's getting older.
Yeah.
I think that they're primed to hit the World Series, which they did win one.
Yeah.
They lost the Giants the year
In
after.
two back-to-back, though.
Yeah, they went back to back. They won one, lost the other one to the Giants. They're getting older. I think Detroit also is getting older. They always pick up some guys at the trade deadline that are very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years ago, they had Ian Kinsler, David Price also a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They also have some stud guys in the lineup, though, with obviously Miguel Cabrera, one of the best hitters probably of our lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
JD Martinez, and you never know about Victor.
Victor, yeah.
He's very old,
He
but
had
he
a
hits
good season last year. As
he hits the
DH.
shit out of the ball. That's what you have to
really
do.
He did.
You guys have such a young, studded lineup.
Yeah.
That impresses me. I mean, you sent us that picture today of the Indians that are signed and controlled through at least 2018.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about some huge guys. Cody Allen, Trevor Bauer, Brantley, Carrasco, Chisenhall, Encarnacion, Gomes, Geyer, Kipnis, Kluber, Lindor.
And they just signed Jose Ramirez
To
to
another
a
5-year deal.
5-year deal. $26 million.
Yeah.
And they got the best smile in baseball.
Yeah, Francisco Lindor.
Francisco
right here.
Lindor has the best.
Best
They're saying
baseball.
they're saying he's the face of baseball, the $1 million smile man that has Trout and Harper beat and Bryant beat.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a huge Twitter thing about it. Bleacher Report
Bleacher
reported
Report
that.
put it out, yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, everyone from Puerto Rico, they don't talk about the other amazing players they have. They talk about Francisco Lindor and Correa. Those are the two studs coming out of there.
Absolutely.
And so when you have those two guys leading your nation like they did, it's very hard not to. I mean, those young studs are coming up.
Such
So-
fun players to watch, dynamic at the plate and in the field. I mean,
Yes.
they're going to make crazy plays in the field, too. I love it.
Okay, so let's talk about, I guess, the American League total. Your roommate, Steve Swan, is moving to Boston. He's been telling you that since day one that he thinks the Boston Red Sox on paper are better than the Indians. He says, quote, the Indians got hot at the right time last year.
I would agree.
100%.
I would agree with that, especially going into that series against Boston last year. I remember looking at the offensive stats and how both teams had played all year. Defensively, they were kind of similar, but offensively, it was Big Poppy's last season had to get it done there. That I thought that was where the season of the series that they were going to lose. Excuse me, and they came out 4-0. That was crazy finish to that ALDS.
I was nervous going into
Yeah.
the postseason. I mean, absolutely. We drew Boston in the first round, and I'm like, man, exactly. Big Poppies last year, and they're, stacked from 1 through 9
Yep.
at the plate. I mean, you can't sleep on any of them.
Yeah.
Jackie Bradley Jr., Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts. That's just some young studs as we went into that. And Dustin Pedroia was hitting over 300 at the time, doing what he knows, how he's been doing it for years.
The key, though, is when you get to the postseason, you have to get a 3 to 4 man rotation. Who's going to have the best 4-man rotation for that team? And right there at that point, you guys were hitting your stride with injuries, though, which was important to note on. You guys had 2 of your starters that were out in that
Two
game.
or 3 guys.
Yes.
If you would have asked me that we were going to throw Kluber, Trevor Bauer, and Josh Tomlin and just sweep the Red Sox, like, whew.
And was that the series that Trevor Bauer's hand was just dripping blood
think
on?
That
that
was Toronto.
Toronto.
That was Toronto.
Yep.
That was
Toronto,
Because they
yeah.
had to take him out of the game very early on after he got an accident
With
with
a drone.
With a drone.
Yeah,
He
it's
cut
a
his
drone.
hand all
Yeah.
up.
Fixed his
Tried to
drone.
catch
He
it
like
or something.
molded it together. It was a unique story. The whole postseason last year was storybook on everything. You could
Yes.
write stories forever on that. It matters who gets hot at the right time. You guys got hot last year in September, moving forward to October, and that carried you over into November. You guys just your Cinderella shoe didn't fit on long enough, to put it shortly.
Absolutely.
Do you see it being a rematch of you guys in the playoffs, but this time being in the ALCS, the
Yes,
championship
I
series?
really do. And I can't put my finger on who's going to be the 1 or 2, but I
Okay.
really think it's going to be Boston and Cleveland. And I'm going to put it at whoever doesn't hit the injury bug is going to come out of the AL. And it's so tough for me. I'm such a big Cleveland guy. With the pickups we've had and all the players we've signed, I can't not pick them. But Boston is just so good. And they added Chris Sale to that already amazing pitching staff.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Key to them, I think, is going to be David Price. The guy is a postseason animal, hates getting taken out of the game, pitched for Tampa Bay forever. Then he went over to Detroit, and also he was also in for the Jays for half a season at the very end. I want to note one team, though, to watch out for. And I think it's going to be the Houston Astros.
I agree.
A lot of young studs. Again, we talked about Correa earlier.
Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve, the best second baseman hitting wise we've probably
40 home
ever
runs?
seen.
Yeah.
The guy gets over 20 stolen bases, gets over close to 30 home runs. The guy hits for power, and he's like 5'7".
Think about this.
Steroids.
Get out of
Think
here.
about this.
Steroids.
The Astros lineup is so stacked. So in the offseason, they added Brian McCann behind the plate,
Yeah.
who's just, a veteran catcher, going to do wonders.
If he doesn't
They're-
follow croak over.
Yeah, absolutely. If he doesn't get knocked over. They're struggling to find room for Evan Gattis,
Yes.
who last year hit 32 bombs behind the plate.
Yeah.
They're struggling to put him into the lineup. He's going to be DHing probably. And then you got guys like Alex Bregman coming up through, who I think is going to have an immediate impact. I think he plays third base.
I have a question
Yeah.
about the MLB.
What's your question, Matt?
With the game expanding and become more worldwide, and you have people their attention span is not that big.
Yeah.
Should the National League have a DH?
To answer your question, no. That's what makes the league different. I think that it makes it interesting to have your pitcher come up because it makes the manager think a lot more. When you see it postseason-wise, you see guys that have to be taken out of the game. So, for instance, for the World Series, you had to take Chapman out because you were going to put him in to bat for the Cubs.
Yeah.
If he pitched in the AL, if say it was home for Cleveland, then he could stay in the game the whole time because he didn't have to bat. But when you're playing at home in Chicago, they had to take him out at a certain point because they're not going to put him up to bat. It's a liability. You want to get your best hitter up there at the time, and that changes the whole game completely.
You're sticking to a tradition.
Tradition as it is.
I'm just going to stick with it as well. It's such an interesting aspect.
But I do
that
like
you
the
don't
AL though
find.
having it. I think it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Absolutely. You don't see anything like that in any other sport,
No.
and I think it's just so unique.
And I like the having the AL having the DH and then the NL not having the DH because especially once you get to the World Series, that makes it a huge coaching decision.
Yes.
Home
Chess
field
match.
advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a chess
It's-
match.
To see the managers go at it head to head and
Yeah.
try to outthink the other manager, I think that's such a beautiful part of the game. It's so hard for people that don't enjoy baseball to understand this concept. But since you and I play in the fantasy baseball world for the last 3 years, this will be our 4th year, you learn to love the game. It's very hard to make you guys understand that at home watching this on your laptops or whatever you are watching this on. It's a beauty. If it's played the right way, it's an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to Houston real quick. One thing to note, who they did pick up, who I want a huge emphasis on, Carlos Beltran.
Yeah.
DH hitter. The guy's a pure hitter. The guy's hit the ball for over 19 years. Be 20th year in the MLB. I mean, it's incredible. Their pitchers they could be studs. You never know what's going on with Keuchel. If he's there mentally and can find the strike zone, that guy is a Cy Young winner.
Yeah, and he could get back to it. It's such a coin flip, and it's like just guys like him and Sonny Gray. What are they going to do this season after they had such great seasons the year before, and then they come out and lay an egg? They have the stuff.
Yeah.
So
They got McCullers, Charlie Morton, Mike Fiers, and Musgrove. They also have a couple pitchers on the DL moving forward, and then their bullpen could be solid. I think you watch out for Houston moving forward out of that NL West, and could be very dangerous in the whole NL.
agreed.
We'll talk about the AL West. NL moving forward. Do you have the Cubs repeating?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I mean, how can you not? They have everybody back, and they picked up Wade Davis as their closer. Chapman's back with the Yankees. Wade Davis has been closing for years now. He knows exactly what he's doing. They're just so stacked. Young talent again with them and the Indians, but they got Rizzo, Chris Bryant. Those two right there, dynamic duo. So we'll see. I haven't won in just under 100 games.
Just under?
Just under.
Okay.
97.
They won
98.
103 last year.
I know. So I'm gonna go 97.
Do you
this
think
year.
there's anyone that could give them trouble in the NL?
I'm gonna go Dodgers.
You're going with Dodgers.
I'm gonna go with Dodgers.
I'm gonna say the same division. I'm gonna go with Giants.
Giants. Okay.
I think again, the Giants made the wild card last year. They were one game away, I think, from completely throwing the Cubs up on their toes and destroying that whole series for them. They got the pitching. Cueto's back.
Yeah.
Cueto's an unbelievable pitcher for them. I know he's around 30 years old now, but they got Bumgarner. I mean, you can't stop that. Those two guys right there, that's 2 of the 3 or the 4 guys you need for a rotation in the postseason.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to side with him though, because Kershaw is due. He is
He
due.
is due.
I don't know. And they picked up Matt Moore. They got some margin and Matt Cain. Those are 5 starters in the Giants organization. That could be 2 or 3 guys anywhere, including number 1, both for Johnny Cueto and Bumgarner. They got Crawford, who played lights out for USA. Brandon Belt, who can hit it. Pence, Span, Posey. I mean, come on. These guys are all-stars everywhere. I don't know. I like the Giants. The Dodgers are also going to be hot. I see both 2 playoff teams coming out of that West.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Okay. And then Nashville's you coming out of the East?
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, too good?
Too good. Trey Turner, probably going to swipe 45
That's your
bags. I think he's going to swipe 45 bags. Kid's an animal.
The MLB opening day starts less than a week. Monday,
Yep.
opening night is that Sunday night. 3 games going on. Stay to ESPN, Fox Sports, wherever your city's
MLB
located.
TV.
MLB TV, we got that package going on.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome. MLB's back. I'm pumped. You're not the biggest baseball fan.
Oh, I love some Mets and some Indians.
And he'll be covering the Mets this summer. And
Yeah.
hopefully the Reds, knock on wood, can show up. So that's all we got for the MLB. Let's bring in Matt Harrington to join us here at the table. We'll scoot over. We'll bring Matt in over here. Actually, yeah, can you Matt tailing right behind Avalanche Pizza?
Getting a call.
You can end it. You
In
can turn
that.
off the sound too.
In that bitch.
Yeah, that's right. J&J Mobile Detailing behind Avalanche Pizza. Fix the car up. We'll tie it. Here, we'll pull this back too. You getting everyone in there? Both of them? We're tight here. We love each other. One of our final 5 podcasts of the semester as well. NBA is tightening up.
It is.
What is going on with your Cleveland Cavaliers?
They're not my No.
These guys, Cavaliers.
Yeah.
These guys.
I'm a Heat fan. If you have not watched before on previous episodes, I'm a Heat fan. And I hate what they're doing, but that's neither here nor there. The Cavs, this is a touchy situation because they're losing, and they're losing big at home or on the road to the Spurs. And the Spurs are generally like pretty unbeatable, whether you lose a close game or get blown out. But either way, it's not looking good for you on the Spurs home floor. But the Cavs are losing at an absurd rate. I'm not sure what their record is.
That's right.
If you look it up real quick.
They're 47-26.
What was the record last year? I'm pretty sure it was better than that.
Oh,
right?
they were
Yeah.
better.
Like 59 and 21 or something, 22, something like that.
Yeah.
They're in the 60 range. But anyways, people were just saying, oh, the Cavs are losing more this year. They're not as good as last year. For me, I'm unconcerned about this. It's not the playoffs yet. It's still the regular season. Once you reach the playoffs, people don't understand the intensity, the amount of hustle and effort just goes way up more because you're in the playoffs. You give it your all in the playoffs right now through the regular season. You just collect the paychecks, trying to stay healthy for the playoffs if you are in that position. So right now, for me, I'm totally unconcerned about the Cavs right now. They're still the perennial number 1 team for me in the East, and their biggest competitor may be the Celtics. We'll have to wait and find out in late June and May.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying there, and that it's not the playoffs. But if you watch the Cavs play and their style of play, especially last night against the Spurs, their effort is concerning.
Zero energy.
We talk about their defense, and we've done that, and every analyst is talking about how they can't play defense. LeBron isn't putting any effort into it. But I was concerned with their offense. They put up 70.
They're going to have those
74
nights.
points.
They're going to
Yeah,
have those
70
nights.
Put up over 80 points.
I know, but if you
though.
watch
They're gonna have those
that, they
nights.
weren't hitting from 3, which I realized that gets streaky. But they didn't care, and they were trying to put in effort. They came in after halftime. Tyrone Lue or LeBron James, whatever one of them, I imagine, had a good speech to them at halftime. They came out and they were firing, but then that energy fell away after the first 6 minutes of the third quarter.
It is a long
I don't know.
season. We've been
It's a long
talking about
season.
everyone getting their rest, taking games off. I want to give a stat out, though, for you guys. The last time the Cavaliers weren't the leaders in the Eastern Conference as a whole, November 2015. The last time they weren't in first place. Boston has a half a game lead, and I'm telling you this right now, if Cleveland does not get that 1 seed in the East, playing Game 7 in Boston for that Eastern Conference Championship is going to be deafening there in the Gardens. I would pick Boston in that game. It'd be very, very interesting to see.
Look,
What do you got?
you have LeBron. He's played against the Celtics plenty of times on the road in the playoffs. And in most
He also
recent
quit.
history,
He took his jersey off.
in most recent history, he's a changed man.
Quitter.
He's a changed man.
quitter.
He's a changed man. That happened 10 years ago. Can you believe that? 10 years ago.
I was
Back in
alive.
09, 08, back then.
We were all
6,
young
7.
guns.
Yeah, we were young guns.
LeBron is 31 years old, 32 I think, something like that. He's won 3 rings. He's won 3 rings, guys. And he has
How many has he lost?
4, excuse me, 3 and 4.
With two of the worst NBA Finals teams of all time. He lost 2.
Well, the first
Well,
one,
the first one,
it
yes.
was just
He was the
the
only
second
guy.
one. That he just deferred to
Him and
be.
Mo Williams.
Yeah, he just deferred just to be not who he is now. But anyways, he has Kyrie on his team. He put up 40 points. Like, no, he has way better support than he's had in the past, and he has all the confidence in the
But
world.
LeBron said this is the toughest season emotionally for him so far. And I've been ripping on the Cavs all season because LeBron is just so hyped up on the idea of going out and getting players. When you had your championship team right there, I realize you need to boost your roster. It can't be the same team. But if you look at all of the transactions they've made throughout this season, they look good, but I'm not sure that they're turning out that great. I mean, you go and get a veteran player in Jerome Williams, and yeah, he is a great player, better than Kay Felder coming off the bench there. But Jerome Williams hasn't been a part of this organization. He's been there for like 15 games or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll find his groove, but they aren't playing as a team. They're playing as a bunch of individuals, and that's concerning.
I feel like he mentioned that this season has been just emotionally frustrating and just a whole lot of duress during this year because he's playing with a lot of guys that are complacent right now. In the past, with D-Wade and Chris Bosh and that whole roster and the staff, they were proven veterans. Day in and day out, they knew what it took to get the job done. I'm not saying that this is not what the Cavs are doing, but they have young guys who they won 1 championship and they just feel good.
Yeah.
You know, they feel like
He's not
that's
done.
their legacy.
Yeah.
LeBron is chasing the ghost of Jordan. You
Yeah.
know, he wants that 6 ring, those 6 rings up there, 5 rings with Kobe. He wants to be up there on that platform. So right now he's just trying to get his guys like, go, come on, we need you. We need to stop being complacent. Let's play some damn defense and let's get the job done. And he's just fighting that right now.
Michael Jordan in his career was 6-0 in championship series. LeBron James has been in the last 6 championships as a whole.
As a whole.
As a whole.
As a whole.
That's that's an impressive stat as it is. To make one note before we switch little subjects in the NBA, when LeBron says the toughest year, I think any year you win a championship, the next year is always tougher.
Yeah.
You got the target on your back every single night in, day in, day out. Everyone knows you're the champion. They're gunning for you. It's the same thing that happened with Golden State the year before. They won the championship against Cleveland, and then everyone's like, all right, we're ready for another rematch them in the championship.
Yeah.
They got their wish, Cleveland did. They took advantage of it and won in Game 7. All talks are off the Warriors.
Yeah.
We haven't heard about them since KD went out a couple weeks ago. Still going to wait and see if
That's how they like it.
if he's going to be ready.
Yeah.
Exactly how they like
That's
it.
how any team like
They've
it.
won
Yes.
7. They've won 7. I don't know. The last year when they were going for the record, they even said it early on. They had all the attention. They were killing it.
They loved it.
They won 7 games in a row. The Warriors, 2 games ahead of the Spurs in the West. The West is interesting. I want to stay on the MVP topic right now. LeBron James is the best player in the East, in the NBA as a whole. But will he get an MVP trophy? Because right now, you look at OKC, and we said this last semester.
I just wrote an article on this.
When you and I were doing the podcast without Facebook Live, we literally had a mic here sitting here. We were talking into it with no video. I said Russell Westbrook was going to be the winner of the MVP before the NBA season started. Right now, he's averaging over a triple-double and has a chance to, with 9 games, 10 games left in the season, to get more triple-doubles than half the season. He's at 37 right now. That's amazing stat as it is. Do you
He's
give
a
it to him?
ball hog.
He's
I
a-
think,
but he's
I
the only
think
guy there.
everybody said that he was going to be MVP. Like, KD leaving,
Yeah,
Russ for MVP.
he and Harden.
You know,
Jackson and Harden last
30
year.
points a game. Like, people saw this coming. I feel like, I feel like with me and my friends talked about KD going to Golden State. They're like, oh, Russ is going to put up 35 a game, 40 shots, MVP.
He's playing
Things
like
of
he's
that
got
nature.
something to prove, but he's not going to prove anything shooting the way
No,
he is.
no.
He's got the 6th. He is 6th place on shooting percentage on that team, and he's not even close to the 5th man.
He takes a high
is
volume of
concerning.
shots. That's why.
Which is also a bad thing if you're not making all.
He's the only superstar.
You know anything else?
I don't know. I really
I wanna hear
don't.
the- I wanna
How
hear
do you
the-
average? How do you average a triple double and not win it? But at the same time, when you're they're 6th in the West right now.
They're 6th right now. They're 42-31. They're 1 game behind the Clippers. Clippers have some injuries right now.
They're
They're
11
going to
games
struggle.
over
They're going
500.
to struggle
Yeah.
to even win a playoff series.
Oh, if the playoffs started now, they'd go against Houston
The Thunder.
against the Thunder. That would be an unbelievable matchup
Yes,
between
absolutely.
Harden and Russell Westbrook.
I say co-MVPs. They're
So
co-MVPs.
they're
I'm gonna
talking
go.
about
I'm
it.
gonna go to
Analysts are
Kobe
talking
route.
about it.
I'm gonna go to Kobe route, and I'm gonna go co-MVPs. Why not? Because you both have guys. Harden, who is transitioning from the shooting guard primary role, where he was kind of forced to make plays last year.
Yeah.
This year he converted over to the point guard role, and he's just doing things naturally, doing things very strategically.
He looks
And
smooth.
then he looks great. He
Yeah.
looks great. And then you have Russ, who's the only shooting guard this year, or shooting guard, superstar this year on the team, and he's just taking over. So he's expanding his game a whole lot more, and he's showing what he can do, and he's leading this team.
How come in the Western Conference, obviously you have huge names. Golden State Warriors, back-to-back championship appearances. They've won one, lost one. The Spurs, obviously, in our lifetime, is the only dynasty in the NBA going on still. You got the Rockets, the Clippers, and the Thunders that all have big-name players. How come no one's talking about this Utah Jazz team? Right now, they're the 4 seed in the West. They're 45-29. I mean, does anyone even know about them, pretty much? They come out of nowhere.
Because they're a young team, they're based in Utah. There's not a lot of media market there in Utah.
But they had
They
great
were-
players, though,
They
with the
were-
mailman.
They remind me of the Pacers of a few years
Those are
ago
Hall of
before
Famers.
Paul George
These
got
are-
injured.
These are role players, you know,
The-
except
the-
for Gordon Hayward.
Yeah,
I
Hayward's
say.
a monster.
The problem with the Utah Jazz is that they are young and they
Very
don't have a
young.
huge fan base, and also they don't win the big games. If you look at any primetime TV game that they've had on, I mean, I can't speak much because the Cavs can't win a big game either. But the Jazz have lost all the big games and won the small games against below 500 teams and stuff, and that's what you're gonna see against with a young team, because they're gonna put in that effort every single week after. So I don't think they're a realistic threat in the West to come out, but I like them moving forward if they can build off that roster.
Rudy Gobert has recently criticized his teammates, saying, "Stop trying to score and compete," because they've been, I guess you could say, called too nice on the court. Whatever that means, they use that in the term where they try to score too much and try to look pretty instead of like having that dog attitude and try to compete and win the games more. And he says that if they had that mentality, they would win a whole lot more games than they're currently doing right now. So I feel like if they enter the playoffs with that dog mentality, then they're going to be right there in the fight for the Western Conference Finals.
We're going to go around the table right now with 2 weeks left in the NBA season. Who do you have coming out of each conference in that championship?
I'm gonna go repeat again. I'm gonna go Cavs Warriors, and I think it's gonna be just an insane matchup once again. Both teams, if Cleveland can pull it together, and I'm really curious to see what happens when we hit playoff time. But it'll be the third time in a row, and at this point it's a toss up.
Is that a rivalry?
Yeah,
This is a
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
LeBron in the 70s. Other than that, though, it's never had 3 years in a row of the same 3 teams. There's been teams that have done it 3 years in a row, obviously,
yeah.
but no
Lakers,
one's done that.
Bulls, Golden State Warriors.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Not yet.
today.
Not yet. But yeah, who do you guys have?
So-
Coming out of the East, I've got the Cavs. I think they're going to turn that on, and I don't see anyone that could beat them. Boston's still young. They're athletic, but they don't have what it takes to get out of the East. The West is a little tough because Golden State, if they can get back to their groove that they started at the end of last year, at the beginning of this year, and then, yes, I have them coming out of the West, but San Antonio is scary. And you saw just watching the way they play, like even their regular season games, they play with an energy, but it's not even the energy as much as how well they play as a team. They pass, they know each other like the back of their hand. And
The system works.
Yeah, exactly. The system works. I mean, you gotta credit Popovich with that too. But yeah, the Spurs are scary. I'll stick with the Warriors just though for rivalry's sake.
For me?
Yeah.
You know what? I would go with the Celtics if they had 4 more inches on their team, and by that I mean Isaiah Thomas. Just being 5'9" out there with a bunch of bunch of trees, you know, and some situations you'll need that height. And Isaiah Thomas is obviously not going to get off the floor in crunch times, and I feel like that height, that lack of height, is going to hurt them at those crunch times. So I'm going to go with the Cavs. In the West, I'm going to go... Who's the number 2 seed in the West?
Spurs.
I'm going to go with the Spurs, baby.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Spurs.
I like the Spurs. The only thing I will say on the West, if KD is not healthy by that Western Conference Finals, the problem that I have with the rest of the West is the Rockets, the Clippers, and the Thunder have one good player, in my opinion. Chris Paul's iffy right now, so they got the Griffin. You look at, obviously, Thunder and the Rockets, they've got Harden and they got Westbrook. They don't have a team. The only two teams with a complete team in the West are the Spurs and the Golden State Warriors. So one of those two teams is going to have to come out of the West, in my opinion. If KD is not healthy enough for that championship series, the Spurs will win that. If not, if he is healthy, Golden State will win that probably game 6 or 7. It'll be a very, very tough matchup in the East. If Boston wins the 1 seed, it's so hard to pick against a team that gets game 7 at home. You get all the fans there.
What they call the TQ Square Garden?
TG Garden.
TG Garden, excuse me.
They're in Boston. Isaiah's going to show out.
He's going to show out.
Yes, I mean, he wants to take his father's role and be the bad boys. I think I love that.
His father's role?
Not his father. I mean, his father was incredible with the Pistons.
That's not his dad.
Is that his dad?
No, that's not his dad.
I thought they were fathers.
No. Thing is, Isaiah Thomas's dad named him after Isaiah Thomas because he lost a bet.
Did you guys know that at all?
No.
I thought it was his father.
No, that's not his dad.
I am way wrong. I apologize. Wow, I'm speechless right now. Anyways, I still think Boston wins the game, wins the series, and I think the Spurs will win. I'm speechless. I didn't know. Did you think it was his father?
He did. He did. No.
I really had no
Anything
idea.
else in the NBA?
I guess we could talk about the Jeannie Buss and the Laker family situation.
Yes, what do you want to mention on that?
I just think these are just entitled brats. They're just fighting over daddy's pension will type of thing, you know what's going on. I actually like that Jeannie's taking control over or still in the ownership of the franchise because the brothers are trying to oust her from controlling ownership. And I just love that, you know, a woman's in charge of the program. And she actually knows about the business, and she knows what she's doing.
Do you pick the Ball family? Moving forward with that possible one thing.
Man, I don't know, because
LeVar said his son will only play for the Lakers.
I'm a big D-Russ fan. And if I'm a Laker fan, I want the ball in his hands as the years come along. And with that being said, Lonzo Ball and D'Angelo Russ, they're both point guards. They both need the ball in their hands. And they want to shoot the ball as well. With that being said, if I was the Lakers, I would go after a guy like Josh Jackson or maybe Malik Monk. They need a shooter. They need somebody who's going to play a big man as well. Malik Monk is obviously a 2-guard. He's 6'3". But he's the deferred shooter who doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands. He can spot up, run off of screens, things of that nature, and do what he does. As you see against North Carolina, we hit those two crazy,
nuts,
huge,
Lonzo
crazy
Ball's
threes.
a head case, man.
I don't think he's a.
No, he's not a head case.
Father,
He
LeVar,
said today. Well, I guess you could
He
take
said-
this as confidence, but he said he's ready to be the best player ever or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a player in the NBA, you want to have that mentality.
Yeah,
that
but
you're better.
he's a freshman in college. He's
That's
18
good.
years old.
That's good.
I can't wait till he gets to the
That's what you
NBA
want.
and they shove him around a
The
little
only
bit.
thing
Maybe he'll have a little bit of a different attitude.
The only thing that I really, that really raised my eyes was that he said that he's better than Markelle Fultz. If you don't know, he's going to be Markelle Fultz is rated as the number 1 draft pick coming in the draft, and Lonzo Ball is number 2. He backed this up with saying, "I can lead a team better." He's saying, like, all due respect, he's a great scorer, he's a great talent, but if you look at our matchups with UCLA against Washington this past season, the Bruins blew out the Huskies.
Huskies aren't good though.
Yeah.
But Markelle Fultz is supposed to be that type of transitional talent where he can raise the level of his team, and he didn't. His team still got blown out. Granted, they have Lonzo. The Bruins
It's
have
like them
Lonzo
playing
Ball.
Steph Curry and Davis at the time. Steph Curry's the only player on that team at the time, and he led them all the way there.
He's that transitional talent,
Okay.
obviously. So Lonzo Ball is a very good player. I really like that he said that he's better than Fultz, and I really want him to go somewhere where he can really succeed and have the ball in his hands and lead the team, but not the Lakers with D-Russ.
Final thought before we end the show. Go read the article if you can on LeVar Ball and how he tried to take over his son's high school team. There was a couple paragraphs in the article that talks about LeVar got the team out after a loss in a tournament in Vegas this past December on the 18th floor of their Vegas hotel. Sat them all out there when the head coach and assistant coaches weren't there. The assistant coach saw what was going on, got the head coach at the time, and LeVar was yelling at the players saying, I run Chino Hills, which is the high school. I run UCLA basketball, and in 2 years, I'm going to run the NBA. Calm down, LeVar Ball.
Wow.
You haven't done anything in the NBA in your career. You played football and went overseas for a single year. You're a nutcase. You also said that if you take Steph Curry out of Golden State right now and you put his son Lonzo Ball in, Lonzo will do more for that team than Steph Curry can right now.
Man.
It's like we all knew that dad, when we were coming up through the
He's a
through
helicopter
sports and
dad.
stuff, and then he just takes it to the extreme. Like,
Yeah.
my son is the best, but
Yeah.
and it's not bad to think your son's the best. That's
But
not
it's
the
too
problem.
far.
It's too far.
It's too far.
Too far.
But this isn't Little League anymore.
No.
Yeah.
But we're going to bite on this because we're the media.
Yes.
We like headlines.
Yes.
And it gives us something to talk about. So keep doing your thing. We will
LeVar,
keep talking
don't
about
stop, please. This isn't your enough. Because if I was your kid, I'd be freaking out. That's
Honestly,
so much more out of pressure you don't need to have.
if my dad was doing that, I wouldn't mind.
Stop it.
I wouldn't
Stop
mind.
it.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
we're good. I'm gonna back it up. It's period point blank. Just see me on the court.
All right, things we found out today. This side of the table doesn't want LeVar as their father. You want LeVar. Isaiah Thomas, his father is not Isaiah Thomas. And MLB starts in less than a week. So, guys, again, go check out all of our social medias. Twitter, Instagram, all Seat at the T. On our website is seatattheT.com.
All one word.
All one word. Seat, like we're sitting in, at the T is in table. Behind us.
Yeah.
.com. Check out our website. Articles, huge articles. Again, Chris, thank you so much for doing all of our fantasy baseball stuff. Jordan Lindsay down in Alabama, graphics and all of our WBC coverage in baseball moving forward. College basketball articles by Duncan Goldberg. And then all of us usually try to chip in as much as we can. Next week's podcast is probably going to be Thursday, not Tuesday. We're going to get the studio for that one. More details on that on our social medias. If you want to get your car fixed up, guys, go to J&J Mobile Detailing. Joe, Andrews, and Big John will take care of you guys there. Great job from everybody, everyone out there.
But who really cares about opening weekend baseball when we
Get
have
outta here!
March
Done.
Madness and NBA playoff is about to
One
come
of the
out
best
in 2
stretch of
weeks.
sports.
Yes, best, and then you also have the Masters.
And the Masters coming up.
Everyone out there, be safe.
The Masters.
Oh.